The South China Sea, a shimmering expanse of turquoise waters, dotted with islands and reefs, each with its own unique ecosystem and beauty. Beneath the surface lies a treasure trove of natural resources, including rich fishing grounds and potential energy reserves. Yet this region is far from tranquil. It is a hotspot of geopolitical tensions, a cauldron of competing claims and simmering rivalries that have persisted for decades. Nations vie for control, each asserting their historical and legal rights over the waters and the landforms within. At the heart of this maelstrom lies a fundamental question: who controls the South China Sea? This question is not just about territory, but also about power and influence in the region. The answer is far from simple. China, with its expansive nine-line claim, asserts dominance over most of the sea. Meanwhile, Vietnam, the Philippines, Malaysia, Brunei and Taiwan all assert sovereignty over various parts of this maritime expanse, each with their own justifications. Each nation lays claim to islands, reefs and the surrounding waters, citing historical precedent, geographic proximity or economic interests. These claims often overlap, leading to a complex web of disputes. These overlapping claims have turned the South China Sea into a powder keg, a volatile region where tensions can escalate quickly. The potential for conflict is ever present, with military buildups and frequent confrontations at sea. Threatening to ignite into open conflict, these tensions are a constant source of concern for the international community. The stakes are incredibly high. Control over the South China Sea is not just a matter of national pride or regional dominance. It represents a vital waterway for global trade, with significant economic implications. Trillions of dollars worth of goods traverse these waters annually, making it one of the busiest maritime routes in the world. These shipping lanes are crucial for the economies of East Asia and beyond, connecting markets and facilitating international trade. Moreover, the seabed is believed to hold vast reserves of oil and natural gas, resources that are highly coveted in an energy-hungry world. These potential energy reserves further fuel the competition for control as nations seek to secure their energy futures. In this volatile environment, even the smallest incident can spark a major crisis. Fishing vessels collide, leading to diplomatic protests and heightened tensions. Warships engage in tense standoffs, each side unwilling to back down, fearing it would signal weakness. Accusations of encroachment fly back and forth, with each nation accusing the other of violating their sovereignty. The spectre of conflict looms large, casting a long shadow over the region and the world. The South China Sea is a microcosm of the challenges facing the international order: rising nationalism, competition for resources, and the struggle to find peaceful solutions in an increasingly interconnected world. As nations continue to assert their claims, the international community watches closely, hoping for a resolution that will ensure stability and peace in this critical region. The South China Sea dispute is not just a regional issue but a global one, with far-reaching implications for international law, maritime security, and the balance of power in Asia. The struggle to find peaceful solutions continues as diplomatic efforts and international negotiations seek to address the complex and multifaceted nature of the dispute. The South China Sea is a tapestry woven with overlapping claims and historical grievances. This region, rich in resources and strategic importance, has become a focal point for geopolitical tensions. At the heart of the dispute lie a scattering of islands, reefs and shoals, many of them barely peaking above the waterline. These seemingly insignificant landforms are, in fact, crucial for asserting control over vast maritime areas. Yet, these tiny specks of land hold immense strategic and economic significance. Control over these areas means access to rich fishing grounds, potential underwater oil and gas reserves, and crucial shipping lanes that facilitate a significant portion of global trade. China's claim is perhaps the most expansive and controversial. The country has been fortifying its presence, building artificial islands and establishing military installations. Beijing asserts sovereignty over nearly the entire South China Sea, demarcating its claim with the infamous 9-line. This line, which appears on Chinese maps, is a source of significant international contention. This ambiguous boundary, drawn on Chinese maps in the 1940s, encompasses a vast swathe of the sea overlapping with the claims of its neighbours. The lack of clear demarcation has led to numerous diplomatic and military confrontations. Vietnam, the Philippines, Malaysia, Brunei and Taiwan all dispute China's expansive interpretation, citing historical records and international law. Each of these nations brings its own set of historical documents and legal arguments to the table, further complicating the situation. The Spratly Islands, a collection of over 100 reefs, islets and cays, are a particular flashpoint. These islands are not only strategically located, but also potentially rich in natural resources. Claimed in part or in whole by China, Vietnam, the Philippines, Malaysia and Taiwan, these features have been the site of numerous incidents and standoffs. The presence of military forces from multiple countries has led to a precarious balance of power. Similarly, the Paracel Islands, claimed by China and Vietnam, have witnessed their share of tensions, with China seizing control of the archipelago from South Vietnam in 1974. This historical event continues to fuel animosity and distrust between the two nations. These overlapping claims create a complex and volatile situation. The intricate web of territorial assertions makes it challenging to navigate the diplomatic landscape. Each nation justifies its position with historical narratives, legal arguments, and strategic calculations. These justifications are often deeply rooted in national pride and identity, making compromise difficult. The result is a tangled web of competing interests, making it extremely difficult to find a peaceful and lasting resolution. The international community has made various attempts to mediate, but a consensus remains elusive. The lack of clarity over territorial sovereignty fuels mistrust and raises the risk of miscalculation, further escalating tensions in the region. As nations continue to assert their claims, the potential for conflict remains ever present, underscoring the need for diplomatic engagement and international cooperation. In recent years, the South China Sea has witnessed a concerning trend: the rapid militarization of the region. This area, rich in resources and strategic importance, has become a focal point for power projection and territorial claims. As tensions simmer and territorial disputes remain unresolved, nations have increasingly turned to military muscle to assert their claims and protect their interests. The overlapping claims of sovereignty have led to a complex web of alliances and rivalries. This arms race, driven by a lack of trust and fueled by nationalistic sentiment, threatens to transform the South China Sea into a powder keg. The competition for dominance has led to an unprecedented buildup of naval and air forces in the region. China, with its growing economic and military might, has been at the forefront of this militarization drive. Its ambitions are not just regional but global, seeking to challenge the existing power structures. Beijing has poured billions of dollars into modernizing its navy, developing advanced warships, submarines and missiles. This modernization effort is part of a broader strategy to project power far beyond its shores. It has deployed these assets to the South China Sea, establishing a formidable presence in the disputed waters. The strategic positioning of these forces is aimed at securing vital sea lanes and asserting control over the region. China's construction of artificial islands in the Spratly archipelago, complete with airstrips and military installations, has further heightened anxieties among its neighbours. These man-made islands serve as unsinkable aircraft carriers, extending China's reach. These actions have not gone unnoticed. The international community watches with growing concern as the balance of power in the region shifts. Other claimant states, wary of China's assertiveness, have responded by bolstering their own military capabilities. This includes not only traditional military hardware, but also cyber and space capabilities. Vietnam, the Philippines, Malaysia, and even Taiwan have sought to acquire new weapons systems, upgrade their navies, and enhance their coastal defenses. These nations are investing heavily in modernizing their forces to counterbalance China's growing power. The United States, while not a claimant state, has also increased its military presence in the region, conducting naval exercises and freedom of navigation operations, much to China's displeasure. The US aims to ensure that international waters remain open and free. This military buildup, while intended to deter aggression, has inadvertently created a vicious cycle of mistrust and insecurity. Each nation's efforts to secure itself are perceived as threats by others, leading to further escalation. Each side views the other's actions with suspicion, interpreting military exercises and deployments as provocative moves. This mutual distrust makes diplomatic resolutions increasingly difficult. This dangerous dynamic increases the risk of miscalculation and accidents, which could quickly escalate into a larger conflict. The potential for a small incident to spiral out of control is a constant threat. The spectre of a militarized South China Sea, where warships patrol the waters and tensions remain perpetually high, is a bleak prospect for the region and the world. The international community must work together to find peaceful solutions and prevent a catastrophic conflict. Diplomatic efforts and international negotiations are crucial in de-escalating tensions. Engaging in dialogue, building trust and finding common ground are essential steps toward a stable and peaceful South China Sea. Regional cooperation and multilateral agreements can pave the way for conflict resolution. By working together, nations can address their differences and ensure that the South China Sea remains a zone of peace and prosperity.
Commit your way to the Lord, trust also in him, and he shall bring it to pass. Psalm 37 verse 5. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Philippians 4 verse 13.